the question is, what do Biharis vote on? Do they vote on Chehra, or do they vote Chehra of Mukhyamantri, or do they vote on local factors? Give us a sense of what the C voter survey is saying on that.
So the question that was asked was to the respondents, what one factor will primarily drive your voting decision? Image of local candidate, 23.6% of the NDA voters were of the opinion that 23.6% they will be focusing on the local candidates, and that is the reason why we are saying that if there is anti-incumbency, it could be against the local MLA.
So that's 19% of the total are saying local. If I look, let's not look at NDA opposite, but 19% total are saying that it is the local candidate.
Local candidate. I think then the next big issue would be the specific issues, which is around 32.7%, the highest, and that's where, Rajdeep, the DBT comes into focus. I think in this election in Bihar, we have to put the spotlight on women in Bihar who are benefiting and have already got 10,000 rupees each. 1 crore women have got that in their account. 1,000 rupees each to the unemployed youth. Up to 125 unit Bijli free in Bihar. A number of doles for Jivika Didi, and that's where the specific issue comes in. Party ideology expected 28.4%, national issues and others. Even on the performance of Chief Minister, it's 5.6%. That's where I would say that Chehre ki Rajniti, this election could be making that transition from Chehre ki Rajniti of Lalu Yadav to Chehre ki Rajniti of Nitish Kumar to now a party-driven politics of Bihar.
These specific issues, presumably, Yashwant, that you are referring to here, which 32.7% are supporting, include these direct cash benefits, the 10,000 rupees to Mahila, for example, under the Mukhyamantri Mahila Yojana. That are these the specific issues? Because you've got Tejashwi now promising 1 job per household. Are these the issues? Rozgar on one side, providing direct cash benefits on the other?
Yes, absolutely, Rajdeep, and it is MY of a different contour now altogether. It is Mahila and youth now, not on the Muslim and Yadav, as we have known Bihar to vote for. So arguably, one side has taken the Mahila issue on the hand, and the other one is focusing on the Rozgar directly through the youth and that way. Having said that, in the data, Rajdeep, I must tell this to our audience. Probably after a long time, I'm witnessing a very, very important gender skew as far as the perceptions are concerned, as far as the intent and as far as the popularity of the candidate and issues are concerned. There is a distinct advantage as far as the female voters is concerned towards Nitish Kumar and NDA, and there is a distinct male voters advantage towards the Mahagathbandhan. So this is going to be another one where we are going to see a big distinction on the gender lines. But having said that, Rajdeep, I must say this thing again. I know I have said this to you earlier during the conclave, that Nitish Kumar's association with the female voters of Bihar is not a one scheme thingy. He is not Shinde. He is not Hemant Soren. He is not any other, not even Shivraj Singh Chauhan. The girls or the daughters of Bihar who were given bicycles 20 years back are now mothers and housemakers. So his association with female voters of Bihar is altogether a different level of emotional attachment than any other chief minister or any other leader you can think of across India.
And he is the same chief minister, Rajdeep, who announced in 2015 Sharab Bandi. So he has, in election after election, looked at the women constituency. 2006 is the year when that entire cycle scheme begins. 2006 is the year when the women of Bihar, in fact, Bihar becomes the first state to announce 50% reservation for women in panchayats. Then comes in 2010 another set of schemes, 2015 and then 2020. So it has been consistent here.
And given that,
the youth equation now, Rajdeep, what we had announced yesterday, very quickly, we need to look into tracker, and we will keep on tracking and bringing the data back to you, how much Tejashwi's announcement is going to impact the youth. By the way, youth traction in this election largely has gone so far in favor of Prashant Kishore. Can Tejashwi Yadav, like 5 years back, on the issue of Rozgar, bring back that youth to it, because he definitely needs MY plus to win these elections.
Can I therefore turn to you, Amitabh Tiwari? Let's look at for a moment these two constituencies, Mahila and Yuva, the new MY of Bihar. Bihar is one of those states where women are outpolling men by a sizable number. Various reasons are attributed to that, including male workforce that goes to other states. Given that, and given Nitish's consistent, strong showing among women, that gives him an advantage. On the other hand, Yuva, as we saw in 2020 on the Rozgar issue, appeared to back Tejashwi. How does this MY factor play in 2025?
No, see, essentially, if you go by the data, the lead which the NDA enjoyed amongst women was just 2%. One could argue that that could have been the deciding factor or the differentiator between MGB and NDA. So this 1.21 crore, 10,000 rupees seed capital, I would say, sort of, for starting their own business is relevant and important because it constitutes 35% of women voters. Plus, if we assume that there are 3 voters in each family, it constitutes almost half of the vote base of Bihar, which is 7.42 crore. And 10,000 rupees is a big amount in Bihar. 34% people earn less than 6,000 rupees per month, and another 32% on anywhere between 6,000 to 10,000. So the context here is significant. The youth voter, which largely backed, again, amongst youth also, though it is assumed that they largely backed Mahagathbandhan, again, it was split between NDA and Mahagathbandhan with a minor lead to Mahagathbandhan. But amongst youth, the women favored NDA even in 2020, and the men had favored Mahagathbandhan. This time around, the highest level of anti-incumbency or discontent or anger or fatigue, whatever you call it, is shown amongst the youth. Now, youth comprises almost 25% of the vote base. Though population-wise is high, up to 35 years age, population is almost 60%, but the vote base is only 25%, which is 18 to 29. Even if you assume 18 to 35, it is only 35%. So 65% of the voters of Bihar are above 35 years of age. They are not youth. This time the youth vote is getting distributed between Tejashwi and Prashant Kishore, who is also making some data. And this data is very interesting, Rajdeep, just one line, this data is very interesting, is that the fortune of NDA now rests on the candidates because it is 24% candidates, whereas the fortune of the opposition lies less on candidates, but more on issues. And here is where the 2 month of vote chori NSIR, should they have focused on issues?
Let's put that question. Who has the edge in the Bihar election? And I'll get our political guest to respond, because the numbers are interesting. NDA, as per the C voter poll, is at 40.2%. The Mahagathbandhan is at 38.3%. The Jan Suraj is at 13.3%. Remember, this is what we are looking at as of today. As of today, who has the edge in of the 3, there is a small 2% edge which has been given in this poll by C voter. Given that this is probably within the margin of error, I want to get the possibility of a very tight race that we are probably heading for in Bihar. Guru Prakash Paswan, do you accept that this is a tighter race? Last time also the margin was just 12,000 votes between the two sides, or do you believe things have changed in 5 years? Our numbers are showing tight race.
No, Rajdeep ji, if you look at the numbers from last time, the difference was 0.03%, if I'm not mistaken. And this time it's showing almost 2%. So I think 0.03% to 2% is a substantial jump if we go by your figure. But as far as we are concerned, as Amitabh ji said, I would like to reiterate that the commitment and the dedication of our Matai and Behne for the leadership of Nitish Kumar has been immense, and we are grateful for it. The kind of initiatives that Bihar has taken when it comes to women empowerment has been the hallmark of women-led development, be it introducing reservation in the panchayats, the local self-government. Bihar today boasts of highest women participation in terms of the women police workforce, and so on and so forth. But as far as we are concerned, Nitish Kumar's twin pillar of Vikas and Nyay, Vikas, which is welfare and delivery, Nyay, which is taking every section of the society along. Jannayak Karpuri Thakur was attributed with the topmost civilian honor, which is the Bharat Ratna. And on the other hand, we have a Rahul Gandhi and a Tejashwi Yadav, where there is a constant tussle, a constant conflict of who is the real Jannayak. We have a face,
Okay.
we have a doula,
Okay,
we have a face, we have a doula in form of Nitish Kumar. But there is
You have a
absolutely lack of
doula. You have a
leadership when it
doula
comes
in
to
form of
Mahagathbandhan.
Nitish Kumar. I'll take your word for it because there'll be an interesting question that will come next. But Kanchana Yadav, your first reactions. Clearly, your challenge is how do you make this 38 cross 40? You have an MY vote, in this case Muslim Yadav, that has been your core. You need new voters. Akhilesh Yadav showed what could be done in Uttar Pradesh and Lok Sabha by winning over new voters, new caste groups. Is the Mahagathbandhan ready for that? नए वोटर कहां से आएंगे beyond your MY combination?
We have the voters beyond our MY combination, Rajdeep ji. I am assuring you. And first, I think this survey has been conducted based on the recent, and by keeping in mind the recent announcement of the NDA government in Bihar, which is just taken before the election announcement. So I think this is not going to work because this election is against the establishment, as I said before. So I think what we have is the credibility in the
The
youth.
advice
What
that the party is giving to the RJD, because there are also familial relations between the two, is if it was PD in 2024 Lok Sabha, then from MY you should convert it to My Baap, which is Bahujan, Adivasi and Pichda, and you already have the MY combination.
Priti ji, we have the voters from across the caste and community. We are not just MY, but BAP also we are A to Z party. So labeling us like MY combination only, I think
ये
it's
तो
not going to
advice
work.
है,
It's
समाजवादी
not-
पार्टी
it's
से
not
आई है
going
आपके
to work
लिए.
in this election. We have the bigger, voters. We have the voters in Ati Pichda. We have voters in Dalit, Adivasi. We have voters in Alpasankyak as well. So labeling us like entire India Gathbandhan, entire India Alliance in Bihar as a MY Samikara
Okay,
is not going to
can I-
work. We have. Yes.
Can I bring in for a moment Manisha Priyam? Do you agree, Manisha, looking at these numbers, the big challenge for Tejashwi Yadav is to try and do an Akhilesh Yadav. If I can draw a parallel, widen his alliance. There's already talk that he's going to give a lot of tickets, for example, to the Kushwaha community. Just as Akhilesh Yadav gave a fair number of seats to the Kurmi community in Uttar Pradesh. That you need one more solid caste base if you are to actually cross that 40% magic mark.
So I think you are right. There's already been a shift. UP and Bihar are a little different. Remember also that the RJD is supported by the CPI-ML, of which we have discussed almost nothing. In the last Lok Sabha elections, although the RJD did not do well in its traditional strongholds, in the areas where there was an RJD CPI-ML combination and a Kushwaha caste to top it all, they had magical results. And the example was the Aurangabad seat known as the Chittorgarh of Bihar, where a Kushwaha RJD candidate won. There's much local politicking happening around, but the BJP and the NDA's Kushwaha card slightly weaker with Samrat Chaudhary on the back foot and Upender Kushwaha not churning electoral victories. But the fact is that the EBC, the Ati Pichda Pachphorna caste, that Nitish Kumar had stitched up through his welfare and developmentalism, that vote bank needs to be seen whether it still continues to be with Nitish Kumar in his name, even in his sunset of political leadership and his political career, or is the RJD able to make any dent there? And here I think the Vikassheel Insan Party makes
VIP,
for
yes. The VIP
some
becomes
chances,
important, yes.
but I still don't see
EBCs.
the RJD having, I still haven't seen the RJD having deep enough, down enough to get the Dalit vote bank, the Mahadalit vote bank. How they do it is a challenge.
That's-
and if Tejashwi is
that's
so
where the
popular,
Congress
go ahead.
comes
Go-
in,
go ahead,
Rajdeep.
Maria.
data
Let me bring in Maria, yes.
That's where the Congress comes in, because there is this sense, particularly after the Vote Adhikar Yatra of Rahul Gandhi, that there could be a shift of the Dalits in particular. Yes, Mahadalits could be going, particularly the Paswans could be with the NDA, but the Mahadalits could be coming this side, the Dalits could be coming this side, and also among the EBCs, because there are in all 130 smaller parties which are driven by their occupation, like the boatmen and the barbers and all. So in that, the VIP party becomes important. If
They are a
Mukesh
party
Sahni,
that essentially
driven by the occupation,
the boatmen, the Mullah community
The
in particular,
Mullahs.
are the ones who go with the VIP. There are a lot of viewers
Yes.
who every time we discuss Bihar ask, yaar, aap bahut caste pe focus karte ho. The fact is, this is Bihar. And among all the states that have been seriously mandalized over the last 20, 25 years or 30 years, Bihar is still strongly mandalized. At least that's what most polls have shown, even in the results over the last 30 years. When Lalu Prasad Yadav won that big majority in 1995, the first election I covered in Bihar, I found that Lalu's base was largely driven by a broad caste coalition that included a coalition of the poor. That over the years has fractured in different ways. Lalu Prasad is not campaigning this time, but Nitish Kumar is still the chehra or the dulha, as Guru Prakash Paswan called it. But